Okay, hello guys and welcome to the live video for the Gamma Optimizer room. I know this is out of band because we were supposed to have this on Friday, but I was really busy on Friday. I could not do it. I was moving a huge collection of books and board games, and it took me forever. So now I'm all settled down and I'm doing this video in lieu of the one on Friday. So I'm doing it on YouTube because GoToMeeting, I will have some conflicts with other videos in GoToMeeting. So let's do this in YouTube because it's out of band. I know that most of you probably want to attend, but anyway, I want to leave a recording right now as a reference so you can watch the recording later on. And as at this moment, I don't think I have a single viewer. Oh yeah, I have a couple of viewers. So if you guys can type on the chat, if you can hear me well and see me well. I think I see some sound seems to be working, but if you can tell me if you can see my video and hear me, I will be even better. No, I'll give people a few minutes to join. The good thing about Google is that you can actually join from the very beginning of the stream, so you don't have to miss anything. But please just type if you can hear me well, just in case I am if there is sound. I'm going to type on the chat and see. I know Google is a little slower in terms of feedback. So okay, let's start right away. I'll assume that this is working and hopefully the recording will be fine. So let's see what we have for today. Let's look at the close positions in terms of NAS1. So last week we have 2 wins and 3 losses. We almost had the 3 wins and 2 losses, but it is what it is, no? And yesterday we also have a win on the system. So far we have, the system is actually recovering, no? The accuracy for the last 10 trades is sitting now at 50%, which is bad, it is still lower than the long-term performance, but it is much better than we have. Also, it looks at the drawdown, it has recovered nicely. We were at the brink of stopping the system. Now I think we have room. I just run the numbers and it seems that in terms of cumulative losses, which is what I use, it's not consecutive but cumulative. Between wins and losses, we have 6 since the drawdown started. We have 5, since the drawdown started, which is actually, it is painful to be in a drawdown, but it's better than being 8, another down. So I think that we are recovering, and I think that the neural net, that was my expectation, that the neural net will recover because it takes at least 10 sessions for it to analyze any new regime. So I think the 10 sessions are the first 2 weeks of August, and I guess it already passed. So the last couple of weeks in August should be much better. We'll see. Hopefully September is not a radical change of regime for the system. Okay, let's talk about the GT level. The GT level today is sitting at 4,450, and what a surprise! We flipped long gamma. I cannot believe it. We are long gamma. We were not long. We were started short gamma, and when I prepared the slide, we just flipped long gamma, and now we are substantially above the level. I just wanted to mention that during August, every single long gamma flip was reversed. It was reversed hard. Usually it was reversed within 1 session or even intraday. So it is good to see that at least it's working today. Also, the gamma imbalances are almost nothing. It's only a couple of billion to the upside and 5 billion to the downside. Both are selling. So dealers are selling into the rally right now, and even if the market falls, they are going to sell also. Well, now it should have flipped. Now they should be buying a little bit to the downside, but they were selling. But in terms of the amounts that they have to do this, there is nothing. It's very, very little amounts, and so any in terms of any kind of volatility that we have is not because of the dealers. No, most of this stuff that is happening today is just organic trading. Also, just as a reference, remember the seasonal effects in September. September is usually a terrible month for the market and very volatile. So my expectation is that this long gamma flip is going to be short-lived. No, it's probably going to last just a few more sessions into September, and then we'll be back in short gamma soon, which aligns with my whole end of the world trade plan. So we'll see. In terms of realized variance, measured from 4 p.m. to 4 p.m., it is 1246 for the month, which is substantially higher than before. Now it is trending up, and also almost 17% for the last week, which is also huge. It's very, very big, very elevated. So realized volatility is trending higher now in the past, which is kind of interesting that VIX is trending lower. No, VIX is actually going lower, and so it seems that dealers are relaxing a little bit in terms of pricing of uncertainty, but the market liquidity in the market clearly has been deteriorating a lot. Yet dealers don't seem to be concerned by it. Even the 1 week VIX that expires next week is almost 12%. Which is negative BRP if you compare it with the 16.9, the almost 17 that you have there. So it is interesting, no? So at least it seems that uncertainty has been removed from option prices, which is, I think, is good. No, we have uncertainty from economic data and from the Fed meeting, and all those things are gone. No, now I guess dealers don't care until at some point later on in September they will care again. So for now it looks good, although to me realized variance is showing the true picture of volatility. Realized variance is showing that, liquidity, is showing that liquidity is indeed evaporating, which is my expectation for the month of September. The late August, early September, I always expect liquidity to disappear. Okay, now looking at the term structure, this was requested. You can see the red line is the line the last time we have a live video on the 18th, and the blue line is the line this today. And you can see that since the last time we have live video until now, implied volatility has collapsed. There is no other word to describe. This is a massive collapse of implied volatility. The curve remains nicely in contango. Contango means that the values on the future are higher and higher than the values in the past. So this is a configuration where basically dealers are saying that they don't care at all. They are not concerned at all, and that's why VIX is so low. VIX sits right here on the 30%, on the 30 days area. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I don't think in YouTube you can see my mouse. But anyway, so VIX is low because implied volatility is collapsing, and I say quite a bit, but to me this is a collapse in implied volatility. They are underpricing options, clearly underpricing options, and this play to our strengths, because I want to do the end of Western civilization play that I have been threatening you guys to do it since the last 3 weeks, but I think this week is favorable for it, because now implied volatility is really cheap, options are very cheap, so I plan to set the trade this week. So probably before Friday we're going to have an end of Western civilization trade on the books for the end of September. Okay, in terms of realized variance, you can see that we saw crazy moves last week. Realized variance, we have like crazy moves. We pierced higher, I think at some point last Friday it was 16%. We got a crazy Friday for some reason, and now the realized variance hovers around the 10, but through the upside. Now it broke through it, and now it's coming, and even today I think substantially higher than 10. Now let me see how much is realized variance today. Oh, it's 9.50. So it's in the same area, which is an early indication that liquidity is adequate, but trading volumes are not that elevated yet. So when trade volumes return, I don't think liquidity is going to be here. I don't think that we're going to have 10 anymore. I think liquidity is going to start moving, or realized variance is going to start moving towards the 15%, meaning liquidity is really inadequate at that time. Anyway, so that's my expectation for September. We'll see if it materializes or not. Now, in terms of variance risk premium, I was expecting, you guys remember a couple of weeks ago on the 18th, I was expecting, I expect BRP to flip negative pretty soon. It didn't, no, but it came close to zero, so at least it's very close to zero. It barely remains positive variance risk premium. And remember, the variance risk premium is the differential between what dealers are charging from options, the implied volatility, versus what actually happened in the market. So now you can see that at least for the last couple of weeks, the dealers have been mispricing a little bit options. So now, in fact, options are priced as fair as possible. They stop overpricing them, which again, this shows this is good for end of Western civilization trade. That's what we want. We want to get like really cheap BRP. We don't want expensive options. We want them really cheap because we want to play long gamma moves. This thing is going to flip negative and we are going to make money on it. And suffice to say, please don't sell tails. Don't play. This is not the time to play short volatility plays. This is not the time to sell puts, out of the money puts, or out of the money calls. This is the time for the opposite. This is the time to actually buy them, and that's kind of the trade that I plan to do. We're gonna buy some really cheap tails, and we're gonna see if they give us outsized payout. No, so at least variance risk premium didn't flip negative, but at least kind of move in the direction I was expecting it to move. Ambiguity is not moving. This is really puzzling me a little bit. I was expecting ambiguity to break the 0.2 barrier long ago, but it hasn't. So, and not only it hasn't, but the market has been more volatile recently. And remember that ambiguity tends to be inversely proportional to realized variance. So it should start dropping a little bit. So we will need to see extremely low realized variance in the next couple of weeks for ambiguity just to approach 0.2 again and break it. I don't know if it's going to happen. I really don't know. So I was expecting ambiguity to be closer to the 0.3 area into September, but it isn't. So that informs me a little bit in terms of the end of the world trade, which I still plan to do, but I won't be as aggressive as I was planning to do because I was expecting ambiguity to be higher. It is not higher, so we might get a mini correction. So I was really planning to be extremely aggressive in terms of the volatility explosion, but we might not get a huge volatility explosion. So I'm going to play a little safer with the end of the world trade. No? Okay, so I finally have a couple of questions. Why is NASDAQ bullish for tomorrow? Who knows, no? I have no idea why NASDAQ is bearish or bullish. It's so funny because I was bullish for today, yesterday, no? Personally, I was bullish. I was expecting an upside day today because yesterday finally we broke the course in August that the market has never been able to go up 2 days in a row in August, and yesterday it happened. So I was expecting to be continuation of the upside momentum into today, and yet NASDAQ was bearish. So who knows? No idea why NASDAQ does what it is. I have no visibility into the internals of NASDAQ. No. The thing is, I like it. I think the momentum will last, and you can see it there in the pricing of options. You can see there from the term structure. You can see that probably an upside rally of several sessions is on the cards now, because dealers are really dumping volatility, and when they dump volatility, it tends to translate into upside momentum for the market. No, so I think upside is favorable. I don't expect the market to come down that much tomorrow. Hopefully, whatever reversal we get is in the afternoon. No, we get a little bit of sell-off in the afternoon, and then tomorrow it continues the upside. And the other thing is, if you notice, this is the first time we actually cross the GT level, and the market has not reversed from the GT level, which is really good. No, the market hasn't come back from the GT level, which is another good sign. Remember, every time we cross long gamma, well, not in August, but usually before, every time we cross long gamma, the market will go up hundreds of points above the GT level. So if this is a true cross of the GT level, we might have probably 100 more points before a big correction. Okay, so I have another question. For the outsized payout, will put spreads work best, or just single leg puts better capturable increase? That's a good question. My original plan, and I'm still going towards it, is a single put, an outright put, because I really want to benefit from the volatility explosion. I don't really want to benefit from the crash itself, because I don't think the market is going to crash. I think the market is going to correct just a little bit, no? And probably 3-4%. The thing is, the market corrects a little bit, but everyone overreacts, and dealers overreact a lot, and they tend to overprice options quite a bit. So I rather capture that overreaction on the pricing of volatility. So I am still inclined to do outright put. And the other reason I want to favor an outright put is because I plan to close the trade in a speculative fashion. I don't want to, I am not going to wait until expiration to close the trade. The moment the trade gets really fat, I just close it, no? And that works much better for a single put than a spread. So that's kind of my plan. And thank you for asking questions. I was worried that there was no one on the on the live video, and I was just talking to myself. So I'm glad at least I have a couple people here, and I know most of you will watch this in a recording. But anyway, thanks for the questions. So this is ambiguity. It's not as high as expected. It's still, it's still close enough to the 0.2 area to justify a little bit of mini corrections. Okay, so what is the trade plan? The trade plan is, well, NASDAQ is recovering. I guess with the loss today, it's not going to recover. But I mean, if this week it manages to win more than it loses, like 3 wins, for instance, this week, 3 wins and 2 losses, then finally the system is going to recover a little bit more. And not only the system will recover, the drawdown will come down. So it's good. So that's the only official system of the room. And I have this standard disclaimer because I know there's a bunch of new people that don't understand the mechanics of the system. But the system is very simple. Just before 4 p.m. Eastern time, we do the trade. And even if you cannot do it before 4, like SPX options trade until 4:15. So you still have 15 more minutes. But ideally, you should do it before the market closes, no? And then just get the strikes will feel around 2.5. And just do the credit or debit depending on the widget, and we let it expire the next day no matter what. Like for instance, we lost, but I'm not closing it, I'm just letting it expire worthless, no? One other thing, which is an interesting piece of news, I finally finished the faster NAS1. So faster in the sense that, remember, this NAS1 requires 10 trading sessions to adapt. Now, if something is happening in the market, like what we saw in August, where we have a complete change on what was the narrative in the market, and the action was mostly downside, the current NAS1 takes 10 trades to kind of figure out the new patterns, no? But the faster one only takes 3. Okay, so this is what I call faster. Faster is that it only looks into the past, 3 sessions into the past. So if something changes, it adapts quickly. No, so it has kind of a quicker adaptation, and surprisingly, this was very surprising. No, this net is performing actually better than the original one, and I was expecting the original one to perform better because looking back 10 trades will eliminate a lot of noise. No, you kind of eliminate noise or some kind of data points, for instance, a Fed meeting or a CPI release that might, throw the system out of a step. But interestingly enough, the newer system has a much better binary cross entropy than the other one. So I am really hoping to replace it, but I will share the data set with you guys. The other difference is that this new net gave me the perfect excuse to retrain, to extend the training period to May 31st of this year. So this one is actually more recently trained, but it still has a nice period. It has like 90 days of real evaluation, like of real training. It has all of June, July, and most of August. So I think it has a decent period to evaluate, other than the normal training and sample period, that the sample training and sample testing period. So it has a kind of an interesting, what you call out of sample period there. So I will share the data set, and then we, we could let it run this week and compare it, and then switch it. Now we can switch it, because I know in September we'll need a fast system. That's for sure. I don't want to have the 10 session system in September, because September is going to be very interesting, guys. You don't believe me, but for those of you that have been trading for a long time, you know that one of the toughest months to trade the whole year is September. If you think that August was hard, just wait until September. September is going to be really, really interesting. So I want a faster net, a net that will react to whatever the market is doing in a faster way. Okay, so let's switch to the variance center here, if I remember how to do this. Okay, now hopefully it works. So this is the variance center. You can see that we are long gamma by quite a bit. We are long gamma by 30 points, 33 points, which is like 0.7%, not bad. You can see that the imbalances now have moved quite a bit. The imbalance up now is almost 28 billions. And the imbalance down is still small, it's only 8 billion. But what a change from where the time I prepared the slide until now, no? What this means is the higher the market goes, the more selling the dealers have to do. So this will tend to slow down any upside moves. And also for downside moves, this is positive, because at least there is no acceleration. I mean, it's just a little buy in here, so it's kind of trying to break the slow down, the move down, but it's not that much. But at least it's not accelerating. No. You can see realized variance is also below 10%. Which is good, but it's close to the 10. No, it has been close to the 10%. But we'll see how it ends up. If this continues the whole afternoon, like this kind of action we have seen, then realized variance will close really low. It will close below, probably 7.6, 7.8. In terms of gamma imbalance, all of these billions of dollars that I have totalized here are mostly concentrated on the 4,500 strike, which is interesting. There are so many calls on that strike. That's a lot of calls. So, and you can see there is plenty of hedging walls to the upside. This light blue means that dealers have to sell as the market approaches. So, this is actually will act as a barrier as the market tries to move up. It's like a substantial barrier to reach 4,500. Kurtosis, I know that kurtosis right now is very random. It's only 3.26, because this is the kurtosis for the last hour. No, this is what I'm measuring here. But I know that early in the day kurtosis was higher, probably around this time, around the those are my local time. So this is like 10:36. I am in Colombia right now, so I am 1 hour before you guys. So around 10:36 Eastern, we saw like activity. We saw like some players, big players, came into the markets, and kurtosis got a little elevated, but now it's kind of normal. So all that buying frenzy has stopped. Okay, and now in terms of the trades, for those of you that are new, remember that the only trade that we are doing officially, so that means me, that's the only trade I'm doing, is NAS1. All of these other trades here, NAS10, NAS350, NAS150, are from the past. We used to do this long time ago. I don't do that anymore, but I keep repeating this. The Gamma Optimizer room is like the Marvel cinematic universe. No one dies in the Marvel universe. No one really dies. So no trade system really dies in the Gamma Optimizer room. And we have members using all these things for whatever their homegrown systems are. Some systems work really well. Other systems are not working that well lately. But I keep them around because I know people appreciate to have them around. But NAS1 is the one that we are doing, and it looks that it's going to be a bullish trade for tomorrow, which I like. And I will like it even better if we can get a little pullback into the close, so we can enter lower. It will be really nice if market pullbacks into the close before we enter. Now, in terms of historical realized variance, I wanted to highlight this. For the longest time, you guys remember, we have realized variance below 10% consistently. But then recently in August, it started to break the 10%. You know, it broke it once here, and then kind of hovered around it, and then we have a massive break last week. We have 2 sessions where it broke the 10%, and in fact on Friday it was like 16%. I don't know why. I don't know if this is bad data or this was truly the reading, but this means that liquidity is not as good as it has been, and is related to trading volumes, because in reality liquidity for the S&P 500 is terrible. No, it has been always terrible. It's just that because the trading volumes have been so low, it looks good. No, liquidity looks good, but that's why I think the end of world trade, the end of Western civilization trade will work really well, because liquidity is so terrible that once we have like true trading volumes coming back, I don't think the market will be able to absorb it. And I have a couple of questions. How soon will your faster NAS one replace the existing NIWAS dataset that is currently the GoRun official trade? Well, I mean, I will replace it just by Friday, I guess. The only thing I need to do is just plug it on the back end, and you guys will not even notice now that I plug it. But I want to publish the data so you guys can evaluate it and see this as slightly superior to the other one. And I have another question. Where are you in Colombia? If you don't mind asking, I am in. I cannot believe it. I am in Pereira right now. I am exactly in Pereira. You know, in my home here by the mountains. So not quite the city. You know, I am like on the outskirts of in a rural area. No, I have to using Starlink to connect to the internet. Yeah, so that will be good, John. If you want to get together, just send me a private message. And I arrived very recently. You know, I arrived on Sunday, so just let me know. And then we can, you know, we could get together, have a drink or whatever, no, and talk. And it's really interesting. Like out of all of the places in the world, the fact that you are in Pereira in the coffee belt, that's so funny. It is a really good coincidence. Yeah. So please. Drop me a line and we can meet. Okay guys, I guess this is it for today. Thank you very much for attending the live video. Apologies for not being able to do it on Friday. We are going to have another one this Friday at the correct time. No, this one will happen at the right time, and then that's it for now. This is a YouTube presentation, so I will make sure that to upload the recording by hand to the room. But also the good thing about being YouTube is that the link works. You know, wherever you click the link, this is the recording. No, the link itself is the recording. So that's the beauty of YouTube. In any case, again, thank you very much for attending the live video, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the room in a little bit. Take care, everyone.